Hey, thanks so much for pressing play and listening to the episode. On the show, I recap Senior Awards Night, and producer Deb and I hit BottleRock Napa Valley. All of this, plus some H-Ugly and Awkward moments of the week. Thank you so much. Shop liveandclick.com. Enjoy the show.
It's another uncensored look at the world around you, from sisters who will say just about anything to anyone at any time. It's the Uggs. Jamie?
You could have killed your husband with your toe blood.
Paula?
She needs to go in a corner and die.
Uncensored as always, it's time for the ugly truth.
Welcome to the Ugly Truth. It is episode 375.
We are sisters who podcast.
Yes, we are. Welcome to the Ugly Truth. Okay, so this last weekend was Memorial Day weekend. It was an extended weekend, and there was a lot going on. Well, like I was telling you before. Oh, God damn it. Always with the messages, people. Every time I get in the shower, my phone rings at least twice, and I get at least 2 text messages, even sometimes a Snapchat. It's like the second I turn on the water.
I get human beings. Like I said, Olivia usually stands there and just watches me.
I'm just like, what is it about the water hitting my body that people go, you know what? I think now would be a really good time to get in touch with you. I don't get it. It's so funny. That, and of course, when we're recording, the door will knock twice. Somebody will show up and go, hello? And then there will be phone calls and text messages per the usual. That's just how it goes. I'm sure. It's like Murphy's Law. Anything that can happen will happen. Anyway, so there's a lot. I was telling you before the show, there's a lot going on. So last week we realized that Malia was getting an award at Senior Awards Night at her high school. And we're like, oh, what is it? And she's like, they don't tell you what it is. They just tell you have to come. And I'm like, all right. I go, well, you obviously, the only thing that she did was she filled out a scholarship application for the Boosters Club. They give out athletic scholarships for people who qualify, whatever. And they review them, and then they hand out like 7 of them or something. And I said, this is the first year that cheerleading is considered a sport in California. And so maybe you're getting the scholarship. She goes, yeah, maybe. So I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, I dress nice and everything, but I do what I always do when it comes to like school functions where my attendance is required. I immediately get kind of an attitude. And I don't know if it's because I don't want to go or what the situation, I just don't know what it is about me that does that. But because I've been going to awards assemblies since the beginning of time, I'm just kind of over it. But I'm like, you know what? This is the last one. It's going to be super fun. And then afterwards, Daryl and I are driving to Napa to go to BottleRock. So it's going to be really fun. So we show up. The place is wall to wall people. There are so many people there. And I said, what is this? This is not what I expected, you know? And so we're sitting there, and basically they go through and they announce scholarship winners. We're sitting there, and they're really cool because it's like the Fair Oaks Rotary Club is there. All these Grange people are there, these different women's clubs and stuff where they are awarding scholarships for seniors.
How neat.
None of them know who wins. They only know when the name gets flashed up on the PowerPoint and they have to come up on stage and receive the scholarship. So some of them knew because these are big ones. So they're awarding, 500 here, 500 there. And then they call up this one girl, and she comes up by herself, and she won a 4-year scholarship to Stanford University.
Oh my God.
And then on top of it, won the Melinda Gates Scholarship for Education.
Shut the front door.
The whole room, including us, stood up and just started cheering. It was cool.
God. Did her parents cry?
I didn't see them because there were 1,000 people there. And so, but we were all like, yeah, because they don't just hand those out to anybody. They're really hard to get. And
Seriously?
it was amazing. And on top of it, she's a water polo player. So we're just like, we love you. You're awesome, because we did water polo forever. And it was just so cool to see. So there was that. And then everyone was crying. All the parents were crying.
Aww.
Because we're like, we're so proud of you. And we're looking at each other going, do you know how hard that is? Because we've all been here. We all know how expensive and hard it is to go to college. But to get a full academic ride to Stanford, that's huge. So there was that. And then they handed out some more. What was hilarious was the people who are presenting the scholarships. Aside from there was another big one. The United States Navy showed up.
Ooh.
So he walks up and he said, over 16,000 people apply for this scholarship, and we only give out like 60. They don't give out too many. But basically, she got a full ride to the U.S. Naval Academy in the East Coast, the big one. And when she graduates with a BA, she will be an officer in the Navy.
Oh, so she intended on joining the military, obviously, then.
Yes. Everybody stood up and cheered again. And Daryl goes, if we stand up and cheer for Stanford, we damn well better be standing up for the Navy. And so we all
Hell yeah, everyone's probably saluting.
Everybody, she was just like beaming. And the naval officer who was there, he's like, the vibe in this room is unbelievable. Like the energy was insane. And so he goes, it is my honor. And everybody's like, yeah! It was so cool. It was so cool. And there definitely were parents crying.
They're like, you go, Paula! You go!
Oh, God. Thank you for your service. I mean, it was such a big deal. Oh, my God.
Where the eagles fly
exactly.
on a mountain high.
Oh, my God. It was so fun. So I'm like, this is the best night ever. You know, it was just so fun. And so then this couple comes up, and I can't remember where they're from. They're representing one of the local, and let's be real, a lot of these Rotary clubs and stuff, they're all senior citizens who are a part of it.
Yeah, they're just old people who have too much money.
Or too much or not enough to do, or they're staying active in their community. Totally cool. I mean, whatever. So, but what's funny is that they really look forward to these events because they get to speak into a microphone in front of people.
Hello.
There was a couple like that. Yes, there was one guy who reminded me of the guy in Up. He's like, hello, this is a big group. You know, I mean,
God.
And so
we got a real hot mic up here.
Paula?
Check, check, 1, 2. Check, 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 1, 2.
You just took words out of my mouth. Okay, so this couple comes up, this older woman and very tall man who had very little hair, and they're standing there, and we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, the woman like does a heavy sigh in the mic. I'm not totally listening, but I am. And so she does this heavy sigh in the mic, and I look up and I see this duo, and they're talking, and the way they're talking, they remind me of Will Ferrell and Anna Gassmeyer, however you say her name.
Gasteyer.
Yeah, it was Marty and Bobby Culp up on stage, and all of a sudden, I'm sitting here going, hey, we got a hot mic! And so Tyler, my son, was there. Malia was there, obviously, and Daryl and I were sitting next to each other, and Daryl turns to me and I go, hey, it's Marty and Bobby Culp. He goes, I was just going to tell you they have a hot mic, man. They got a hot mic. So I find a picture of them, and while they're talking, and they're talking for a very long time because they like to hear their voices. And so I find a picture of Marty and Bobby Culp, and I text it to Malia and Tyler, and they're like dying. Because it's exactly who they were. It's exactly who they were. And so here's the thing, though. The lady sitting next to me was so offended. She saw me do it, and we were laughing. We weren't being rude. We were just kind of like, you know,
right.
She moved. She literally switched chairs because she was so offended that I had considered them the Marty and Bobby Culp of the
I would have found a gift that had in big letters said, fuck you, and then sent it to both of them.
I was so, like, I laughed so hard. I was like, what is this, church? Come on, this ain't the Pope. It's just two people.
Obviously, she knew who they were, so, I mean, it's not like, you know, she's so innocent.
Honestly, if I was that person and someone said that to me, I would laugh my ass off. I'd be like, yeah, it was the heavy sigh, right? Is that what kicked it off? That, yes, now I'm like, we got a hot mic up here. That's exactly what it was.
I had seen that, I would have been hysterical. I'd be like, why didn't I think of that?
I know. And actually, I would have probably done a little riff. I would have done a little riff up there if I had thought about it.
I know. That's
anyway,
terrible.
so then they kept awarding, and then this one guy comes up, and they won like $500 and $1,000. It was, you know, some special scholarship. And he goes, now it was these two young men. He goes, all right, young men, now, Coco's, 7:00 in the morning, Tuesday. Show up. We'll give you your checks. And he walked away. And we were like, what?
Wow.
They had to go to Coco's, which is like a Denny's. And
I know where it is. Oh, no, you're explaining to the listeners. Okay, yeah.
So they have to be there at 7 a.m. on Tuesday to get their actual check. So So apparently they weren't cutting checks that night. Made me laugh anyway.
Well, they're probably thinking if they want it bad enough, they'll come and get it.
So then it was time for the Boosters Award, and Malia's name was called along with 6 other kids, or maybe it was 10. And she got a $500 scholarship for school, which was awesome.
That is excellent.
Yeah, so after senior awards night, we left and went to Napa, and we checked in late to our hotel, and then we were going to BottleRock Napa the next day, which is obviously in Napa. Mm-hmm. Now, we weren't really thrilled with any of the musical lineups, but it's really still, it's not the worst, like you said earlier, it's not the worst way to spend a day, right? I mean, and it was Friday. You know, we still had the whole weekend ahead of us. We were only going to one day, and then we were going to drive home. So we get to our hotel about 10:30, and Daryl has a cousin who manages this hotel, and so we always get a little extra perk sometimes. And so we got a nice bottle of wine, and so we proceeded to get drunk. Thursday night. We just started partying. It had been a long time since Daryl and I had been away together without any children or anything. And so we just had we had a super nice room, and we just started getting drunk. So we wake up the next morning, and I'm like, oh my God, we have to go to BottleRock now. And there's a lot of drinking that goes on at BottleRock. But since we were driving home, we weren't going to go crazy because we needed to be sober. So we meet his cousin next door at this really great little place, and she had ordered a bottle of champagne, and so we proceeded to drink that because we thought, hey, it'll help with the hair of the dog. We weren't super hungover, by the way, but we had not had much sleep because we stayed up kind of late. So we go to BottleRock. Now, there was a situation in which his name didn't end up on a guest list. So we were at will call, and his name was nowhere to be found.
Oh, no.
I know. And it happens. It happens. I mean, it's a huge event, and there's a lot of guests for this specific client that we were going to see. And so I was like, hey, whatever, man. I go, hey, you know what? It did not sell out this year. So I literally had 2 tickets in the queue to buy. I said, we can literally buy these and walk 10 feet and get the tickets and walk in the door. It's no big deal. But he's like, no, but we have extra stuff. We have a VIP bracelet to go onto this extra stage, and that's where all the clients are. And I said, oh, okay, shoot. So it took about an hour. So we sat at this little bus stop watching all the people walk by, and, you know, me judging every man. And so here's the thing I noticed. A lot of beautiful women of all ages, and all the men have dad bods. All of them.
Yes.
Even the young ones. Is it all the craft beer?
You know, I don't know what it is. I really think that we're still living in the age of women are expected to, you know, keep this body, but men just don't have the same expectations.
It was crazy. And I never thought, it's not like I didn't notice it, but sometimes you notice a trend when you're people watching specifically. And I'm like, I'm looking at a lot of slobby looking guys and gorgeous, put together, stunning women. And we're talking from ages 18 to 60. It didn't matter. It was an all ages thing. And I was really surprised how unkempt a lot of these men were. Now, not all of them. There were a couple here and there, but they were gay.
Of course, yeah.
And other than that, these other men, they had, you know, T-shirts that were big and, you know, big and loose so they could hide their beer gut, flip-flops and cargo shorts. I'm like, God damn it, really? I was shocked.
The other thing too is that women typically don't date men based on their looks either. You know,
it's personality.
It's mostly personality. I mean, most guys, you know, they probably have a cute way about them or something like that.
They weren't uggos. I mean, they weren't hideous. So
there's an initial attraction, but I mean, for the most part, women like guys because of their personality, so they can deal with the rest of the physicalness. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with it. But I will say this particular breed of men right about now, I mean, not that they're unkept, but there's a lot of like t-shirts, shorts, flip-flops, and beards going on.
Oh
and
I'm
kind of
so many
struggling
beards.
Because I'm just like, okay, I get, you know, the beard thing going on right now. But I mean, we're getting to the point where you're just really not even taking care of ourselves, you know? Not that anyone's smelling or anything like that, but they're just looking.
It's an easy maintenance look. This is what I attribute. I kind of akin it to this. There was a time period where there was the quote unquote PTA mom look. Short hair, No dye job or decent haircut. It was just short with the mom shorts, the capri jean short or jean pant with the Skechers tennis shoe and the white stag comfort tee. Like that was the staple for the entire time our kids, my children, were in elementary school. It was everywhere. It was, you were decent looking enough, but there was nothing sexy or sexual about it. It was just, it was a low maintenance look. And I feel like that's what I'm seeing is this low maintenance look, because it's so easy to just go to Kohl's and you can Garanimal shop your way through the men's section and just find whatever shoe you feel like wearing and walk out the door. And it does, in this day and age, does take a little effort for men to be put together. You can't just do that for the rest of your life. I mean, I guess you can. Obviously, that's what's happening now.
Well, I mean,
the beard, I don't have to shave.
Well, personally, I know the last person that I spent some time with, they actually took a lot of effort and pride in their beard. Okay. So they had a few products, they definitely washed and conditioned it and trimmed it up on the side so it didn't look like, out of control or anything like that. So they definitely kept up on the maintenance of it. Sure. And so, I mean, that I appreciated. I honestly didn't even think about it because I didn't realize beards required so much effort, but that's probably why his looked nice.
Well, not only that, but if you think about it, it's easier to maintain a beard every day than it is to shave every day. Because if you miss one day of shaving and you go into work, people go, "Oh, rough night last night." Whereas if you have a beard, throwing in a little pomade or brushing it through or however they do it, you look fine. They don't even think about it.
Right.
But, and I'm not, first of all, I hate kissing men with beards. I don't like it, but that's just my personal taste. Okay, so more at BottleRock. So we finally got in. Everything was wonderful. We had a wonderful time. It's such a great little environment. It's a beautiful day. A little bit of breeze. It was supposed to rain. It did not rain. It was gorgeous skies. So, of course, I'm like, well, I have to pee. So they have these cool areas in every corner of the fairgrounds. There's an area for restrooms, and you can see they have a giant helium balloon that's blue with the men and women bathroom signs on it. So you can see them from afar. You can go, oh, there they are.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so you can walk straight towards them and you'll run into the bathroom area. And it's kind of walled off so that all the porta-potties are kind of hidden from view, but when you walk in, you're into like a little village of porta-potties. So I walked right in. It was really cool. I walk in the first time I had to pee, and there's a gentleman standing by this one. And these are nice ones, like they auto flush and everything. So I said,
wow, I've never even heard of such a porta potty.
I know, it's really nice. And so I said, hey, is this one open? He goes, oh yeah, hold on a second. And he walks in, he cleans the entire bathroom, and then he goes, you may go. And I'm like, oh, thanks. I'm like, is this a service provided to all people?
He probably had to install the webcam before you went in there.
I thought about that, but I'm like, whatever. At this point, I would be honored to be webcammed at this point.
You're gonna show up on Pornhub, your big butt peeing.
Shut up, and we will all know it's mine
because you have that
I have a birthmark.
You have a butterfly tattoo on your butt.
Like, oh my god, I know that tattoo. Then I'll be like, I want some money if you're gonna do that.
Yeah, right. How many likes has that gotten?
I'd be like, oh my god, I didn't wax that day. Damn it!
I had a pimple on my butt.
Why doesn't anyone tell me these things? Yeah, because everybody looks at you at that angle. So then the second time I had to pee, I walk in and it's chaos because now there are people there because we got there when there was hardly anyone there yet. And so there's a bunch of people and there's lines. I'm like, okay, so I walk in, and the way you can tell when a door is available is it's green. If it's red, if someone's in it. And that's how you can tell. It's just like the airport bathrooms or the airline. So I walk up to one and it's green, but not completely green, just kind of green. I mean, it was mostly green. So I went, oh, it's open. So I go to grab it and it's locked.
Jamie.
And so I pulled twice.
Why?
Because it was green and I thought, oh, maybe it's stuck. So I open it up and all I see is a guy's big ass. I was like, I'm so sorry. And I try to shut it, and of course, it won't close.
Because the lock's out.
Because the lock is out. And I'm like, holy shit. So I'm like, I just push it and kind of like jimmy it and then run away so he can't see it's me.
Like out of the area entirely?
No, I just ran to the other end of the pea village so that I could find another one.
Why was his pants all the way down his ass?
That is so funny you say that. So I come out and I told Daryl what I did. I'm like, it's an awkward moment, but I have a more awkward moment. So that's not my awkward moment this week.
Oh, jeez.
And I said, oh my God, I did it. And I saw his butt. He's like, wait a minute. And I go, what? He goes, why did you see his ass? I'm like, because he was urinating. And he goes, no, Jamie, you don't do that when you're a man. You don't pull down. I go, it was not a child. It was a grown ass man. I know the difference. He's like, I know. I'm just wondering, why were his pants down where you could see his ass? And I'm like,
maybe he was masturbating.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Maybe that's why it was kind of unlocked.
Maybe he's kind of like a exhibitionist or something.
Well, this puts a whole spin on it. I didn't see his pee-pee though. I didn't see his penis. I just
his pee-pee.
I'm sorry. I didn't see
or
it.
maybe he was like, I don't know, special or something.
Ooh,
I mean,
no.
Every time I've ever talked to someone about someone having their pants down while they're urinating, it's either a little kid or someone who's like special.
He wasn't special.
What, you could tell by his ass? Oh no, he's definitely not special.
Well, based on his clothing, I would assume he wasn't. But anyway, other than that, it was a flawless day. We got to see the clients and everything.
That's good. So what artists were there that day?
That day was Imagine Dragons and Logic. Jenny Lewis. Daryl and I watched Jenny Lewis, who we really like. She's kind of a cool, hip chick. Kind of, we've seen her before, and she's opened for some other artists that we really have liked. So we enjoyed her. And I don't know if Daryl enjoyed it as much as me, but I really like Jenny Lewis. Actually, you know who Jenny Lewis is she is the daughter. She's Hannah Neffler on True Beverly Hills.
I thought that's who you were talking about when you said Jenny Lewis, because I'm just like, I only know that name as the redheaded girl when she was younger.
And that's who she is, and she's a very accomplished artist. She's really, really talented, and she's been an artist for years. But it is funny, though, because when you hear her sing, or when you get a close-up of her face, you can't help but think of True Beverly Hills every time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's cool though.
But girls of Beverly Hills.
Yes. Shopping is our greatest skill. Yeah,
5,
exactly.
6, 7, 8.
God, I love that movie.
I know.
I love it so much. It's Hannah. It's like, will you stop? I just love that movie. Anyway, so yeah, BottleRock was super fun. So there you go.
Well, good.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. Okay, so let's move on to the news of the day that's very important to you and I. Adam Levine quit The Voice. And Gwen Stefani is going to be the judge. I am so mad. Dude. I am so mad about that. I can't with that.
I can't believe they couldn't find someone, not necessarily better, but...
I hate it because...
less attached.
I just hate that we know that Blake and Gwen are a couple and they're going strong and now they're going to be on The Voice. It's like, what are we doing? Can we not? Can we just not?
Just seems so incestuous.
It does. And I'm like, what is this? First of all, Adam should have quit 2 years ago. He hasn't won in like 6 years. And he picks weird people. He doesn't even... And then he had that weird obsession with that teenager last year. And then he got full-on eliminated this year on the first round. Wow. Literally lost all of his singers. He had no one after the first. That's unprecedented. So it's like, I don't really know why. I mean, maybe he had a contract or something, so he was just writing it out. But he's like, I'm moving on. I'm like, yeah, you are.
He and his band are very talented, but maybe he just doesn't have an ear for talent,
I think the show has kind of morphed a bit. It's transitioned a bit. It's very R&B and country, and that's it. Pop artists do not do well on that show, and I think it's because it's basically glorified karaoke until the very end.
Well, and not just that, but rock people, I mean, they don't really do ballads, and that's all anybody wants anymore is just ballads. They want the Carrie Underwoods and the,
yes,
Jennifer Hudsons. And
well, for example, the girl that won this year, Malin, she was my favorite since the very beginning. She wisely chose John Legend. And he took her all the way to the end because he's a producer. He knows how to produce songs. So when she would go out and sing, it was so well produced that it was flawless every time. Every time. If she hadn't have won, it would have been a crime. Because she was surrounded by 3 douchebag cowboys that Blake had. Yeah. And I'm so over the douchebag cowboy. I can't even with it. It's like, why is this still a thing?
That's all country music is a bunch of douchebag cowboys. I mean, country music doesn't even sound like country music anymore.
I hate it. And so I was so glad that she won. But you're right. She's like a Kelly Clarkson or a Carrie Underwood or whatever. So Adam is leaving. I'm annoyed with the Gwen Stefani thing. Not that I don't like Gwen Stefani, but just the fact that we know they're a couple and that kind of... But if we see any lovey-dovey shit, I'm going to puke.
Well, that's how it was when they first started dating. And it was the very end of The Voice, that one season. And they were just like all oogly-eyed over each other and everything. And it was just disgusting.
I miss when Christina Aguilera was there. She was such a bitch.
I loved her so bad. I liked Kelly Clarkson.
I love Kelly Clarkson. Yes, and she's remaining. And I don't know if John Legend's remaining, but it would be really weird to have 3 women and 1 man. It would be weird. I would hope they would get another. If John Legend is not returning, which I assume he would since he won.
Well, maybe they'll bring back Pharrell. They both were producers.
Paula Pharrell was terrible.
But he was a producer.
I know, but he picked really weird people too. He picked all these very weird people. So I don't know. We'll see. It
would be nice to see like someone completely different. Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't even say that because there's so many singing shows now. Everyone's eaten up by like didn't they use Steven Tyler on the freaking American Idol or something like that?
Yes, with J-Lo. Yes,
which is a complete waste of talent because that show is such a joke.
They canceled American Idol.
No, that was a rumor. They did not.
No. God damn it, really?
I know, and they've got like the 3 worst people on there. I mean, no, actually, individually, with the exception of Katy Perry, they're okay. Lionel Richie's amazing, obviously.
I can't believe Lionel Richie is even reducing himself to that show.
That's what I'm saying. I can't even dignify his association with that show.
Like, they must be paying
his career.
They have to be paying him just bags and bags of money. That's the only reason that anybody would do it. And he doesn't even, I shouldn't say he doesn't need it, but I mean, the man is a legend. He doesn't need to, does he need to do this?
I mean, he's written like timeless songs that will never die.
I know.
It's
crazy. It's so crazy.
And then you've got Keith Urban from Australia. And
you know what? Dude,
I hate that guy.
I don't like his hair at all. He's got the worst haircut ever.
Stupid. He's not even country. And then Katy Perry's just, I don't even know
what if they got.
She needs to go in a corner and die.
I don't know. She's so weird with her big doll eyes. It's just so weird.
Well, it's only because she's got like no hair.
She just has that harsh
and she
haircut.
keeps cutting it like that. I thought she was going to grow it out, but she's not.
I thought she grew it out too, but I think it's a wig. I don't think it's legit. I think she still has that short shave look. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm a little bummed about it, but I mean, I'm glad Adam Levine is leaving. I was kind of over him, but I'm a little over Blake too. But they've got to find another powerhouse country boy douchebag to take his place. And I just don't know if there is any.
I don't know. I would like to see, well, of course, I'm just partial to him, but I would love to see like a Bret Michaels on there or something.
I was going to say that. I was going to say they should get some kind of rock guy, some kind of guy who's got some kind of, rock and roll cred.
That's why I was going to say Steven Tyler, but they completely they ruined
it. Yeah.
By putting him on that American Idol.
Oh, you know who could do it? Sebastian Bach of Skid Row. That dude can sing his ass off.
But Jamie, he can't walk from A to B without his wife holding his hand.
Really? I thought they got divorced.
Oh, maybe he did. She was his manager forever.
Yeah, I think they're divorced now.
But I'm just saying, I mean, the guy has done so many drugs and so much alcohol.
So what? He's a good singer.
I think his brain melted.
I freaking love that guy. I saw him live many times in my youth, and I just drooled over that fool. He was so good looking.
We are the youth gone wild.
I'll remember you. Okay.
I swear I listen to that song at least once a week.
I love it. Okay. So the only other thing I want to say, that producer Dub and I were taking the family to Hawaii in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that, the schedule of when we're recording later. But we're not going to Maui. However, did you hear about the Granite Bay gentleman who was eaten by a shark?
Yes, I did. The optometrist.
Dr. Smiley was attacked by a shark in Maui and died.
At Kanapali Beach.
Kanapali Beach, where everybody goes, by the way. Mm-hmm. It's a tourist beach. But from what I read, and I read the article where it was a beautiful day, the water was super duper clear, and he was swimming, and there weren't even a lot of waves. It was a super calm day. But he was 60 yards out. That's pretty far.
Yeah, they said he was 65 feet out or 60 yards.
They
or
said
something.
yards. And when you think about 50 yards on a football field, and then you add another 10, that's how far out he was from shore.
That's pretty freaking far.
That's far, if that's accurate.
Well, the thing about Hawaii is that you can go way out and it could be shallow for like a really long time.
Yes, that is true.
But the
sandbar
thing
is very big.
Sharks swim in shallow water, though.
Yes, they do. And
they sometimes show them like right on the coastline. So
the thing that, unfortunately for Hawaii, it's tiger sharks that live out there. And
is that what got him?
They didn't say, but great whites tend to not do that. Tiger sharks are the ones that swim in shallow, and they will bite humans. In fact, the famous surfer Bethany, the one that lost her arm to a shark, that was a tiger shark. And
okay.
First of all, they frequent the area because it's super warm, number one. And number two, they give zero fucks. They'll eat anything. They'll bite anything. And the thing with them is their teeth aren't as big as great whites, but they will not let go, and they'll just rip it off. And I think that's what kills people is the bite itself. It's when they take the flesh is when it kills
they bleed out. And plus, if he was that far out and nobody really noticed, I mean,
he could have gotten. I mean, it's horrifying.
Did they actually say how he died or no?
No, they didn't. But they got. I don't even think he swam to shore. I don't.
I wonder if he drowned.
No. I don't think so. They made it very clear that it was a shark attack. All I know is that I feel like sick to my stomach when I think about it. And even though I don't know this human at all or his family, the fact that I could indirectly know someone who knew him, and it makes me really sad. Really sad. My goal in life is to not become a meal ever for an animal. This to me is like one of the worst nightmares of I can't even imagine that happening to me, which is why I don't swim in the ocean anyway.
No. Yeah. Well, when I went the one time on my first honeymoon, my ex, he was bodyboarding, so it's like those little bodyboards, and so he was way out there. Like I couldn't. There was a big line of guys out there. I couldn't even recognize his face. Like I couldn't have pointed out which one he was. So that's how far out they were. And I'm just like, he's gonna die.
It's like 60 yards.
I was ankle deep in the water,
and you're having an anxiety attack.
I kid you not. A wave kind of hit me the wrong way, so I bumped forward. I hit my toe on a rock and it cut open.
Oh no!
Can you believe that?
Well, like
I'm
a
the
bat
one on shore.
Like a bat. Oh my god!
It sliced right open.
Paula.
So
sharks probably smelled that.
Well, I was ankle deep, so
doesn't matter. They can smell blood from a mile away.
I got back on my towel.
You could have killed your husband with your toe blood.
But what I'm saying is, he's the one out there that I'm terrified is going to get eaten or something, and I'm ankle deep, and I'm the one that cut myself open.
And you have 2 stitches in your toe now.
So I had to hobble back, to the gift shop to get Band-Aids and a Neosporin.
And they're like, and they walk in, they're like, I'm sorry, where's your parents?
I know, right?
Because you were so young.
I was so young.
I know. Oh, that's funny. Well, it's not funny, but anyway. Well, I guess I'm glad he wasn't eaten.
Oh, they just looked at him. He probably looked like nothing but bones. He was skinny and white.
Anyway, all right. Well, to close out the show, we've got some H-Uglee and Awkward moments of the week.
Yay!
Bodily fluid edition. Here's the first one. And I want to know that I think you and I both can relate to both of these, which is why I chose these specifically. Here's the first one. At a friend's house, I suddenly felt insanely ill from eating something. So I went into the bathroom and leaned over the toilet to throw up. And as soon as I did, a jet of diarrhea blew out of my ass at the same time.
No.
That was the most stressful cleanup job of my life.
I would have just left. I would have grabbed a towel, put it between my legs, and ran out the door.
You wouldn't have cleaned up your poo?
Oh, I just assumed it was in her pants.
Yeah, you're probably right. It was. Why would their pants be down? I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, really.
God.
I mean, who pulls their pants down to throw up?
The same guy who pulls his pants down to urinate in the porta-potty at Napa Valley, apparently.
And leaves the door unlocked.
I know. God. Well, did he though? Or did I just rip it open? I feel like I I forced it open, but
you're one of those people that keeps knocking, you know.
I didn't knock. I just was like,
that actually would have been more polite. It's just to knock first because you weren't sure.
I'm such an idiot. I swear to God, I'm one of those people. Oh, sorry. Do you know how many times I have opened the door up on someone in a bathroom? Like so many times.
Why do you do that?
They don't lock the door. I just open. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And then one time I did, and the woman's like, it's all right. I'm like, oh my God, no, I'm very sorry.
Just
so very sorry.
Go to another one. Like, especially with that bathroom. If there was any question, just go find another one.
You know what? My brain.
Why did it have to be that one?
My brain did not. It was green. It was green. That's why I did it. A
little bit of red.
A little yellow.
What is that movie? They were cones.
They were cones. Those could have been her guests. I love that movie too.
Me too.
It's so funny. I just saw that movie the other day. I was just watching it. I just loved it. It's so funny.
Ryan loves that movie.
It's so funny. I was actually thinking about that going, you know, when in the 80s and that time we were very young. We were not adults. But I was like, God, you know what? How cool would it have been to be an adult in the 80s?
I wish it was still the 80s.
Think about all the cocaine and the neon and the clubbing and all the stuff. It would have been so fun. All the bands, you know, that would have been such a great time. All the leg warmers and the mesh. It would have been so much fun.
I wonder if we can just like start like a wave and just create the 80s all over again.
Well, you know, we're kind of living in the world of the 70s right now, politically and fashion-wise. So maybe by the time we're old as fuck, we can actually wear neon and Aquanet again. And we'll be those cool
You should see what I posted today.
What?
It was what was it called? It was called 7 Ways to Keep Your Man, a guide from the 50s.
Oh, you know what? I saw that. I've seen that before. It's horrible. It's so bad.
Awful.
It is.
And twice, in 2 different places, it suggests that you own pink panties. I don't know why.
What was that? Is that saucy back in the 50s?
No, it just says that, you know, they're like appealing to the eyes, but in a very soft, comforting manner.
All right. So in other words, your wife's not a whore, but she's not virginal either.
But she's not wearing white panties.
Oh, so. God.
And if he strays, then
it's your fault.
No, it just said, you know, pretend to look the other way or just don't speak of it.
Oh, is that how we do it? So how about if I just bash your face in with this baseball bat? Will that work? I'm not talking. All right, so here's the second one.
Go ahead.
Okay. You know, I mean, I have heard of stories, by the way, before I read the second one. I don't think it's ever happened to me where I've had to make the Sophie's choice of it, whether or not I'm going to poop or vomit in a toilet. But to me, it would seem reasonable that you would diarrhea in the toilet and throw up in a garbage can.
Or the shower or the
or
bathtub.
Whatever. Yeah, like the vomit will always lose to poo. And it's a choice of what do you want to clean up when you're feeling like crap. Do you want to clean up poo or vomit? That's pretty much how that goes. I know, but if you have to choose. I think that's one of the reasons why I've always had a solid wastebasket in my bathroom near the toilet. It's not one of those fancy weavy baskety ones.
Oh, you know what? We have a water closet now, so I wouldn't have the option necessarily.
No,
but I do have a solid wastebasket in my bathroom.
Everybody should have a solid trash can. It's got to be plastic or metal so you can throw it away and buy a new one at Target should you need to.
Well, especially being a girl, you need to throw your girly waste away.
Yes, exactly. Okay, speaking of girly. While I was pregnant, I had the worst nausea and vomiting well into my second trimester, which you and I both can relate to. To make matters worse, I also forgot how to properly throw up, and somehow vomit would try to exit from my nose as well as my throat. Okay, this happened to me when I was pregnant.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was throwing up so much in my second trimester. I didn't have the mesis.
The hyperemesis.
I did not have hyperemesis, but I had morning sickness all the way until my 7th month of pregnancy.
That's awful.
It was awful. And
but
so
you had Tyler.
Yeah.
I'd hardly had any morning sickness with Ryan, but it was the girl that did it to me.
My third, Malia, I had never been so sick in my life. I thought I was dying. It was the worst.
God.
So anyway, okay, so I forgot how to properly throw up, and somehow vomit would try to exit from my nose as well as from my throat. The worst time was when I threw up after eating sausage. Vomit was coming from both my nose and my mouth, so I couldn't breathe. I thought I was going to die from being suffocated by my own vomit.
She waterboarded herself.
Huge chunks of sausage meat got lodged in my sinuses.
That's not funny.
I spent hours crying and trying to blow meat from my nose. I want to know if she can eat sausage to this day.
Oh, I'm positive she can't.
There's no way she does. I swear to God, it happened. That happened to me exactly, not sausage, raspberries. I had this insatiable need for raspberries, so I bought organic raspberry popsicles. And they had big chunks of raspberries, and I'm thinking, oh, this is really healthy, right? It's not, by the way. I ate like 2 of them. And then, of course, I immediately got nauseous and started throwing up. And at some point, I really believe your body like paralyzes and it just opens up. The floodgates just open. And I was vomiting raspberries out of my nose and my mouth at the same time. I truly thought I was going to drown.
Oh, my God.
And it finally ended. And raspberries are very acidic. So,
I know. Well, throw up in general is acidic.
I mean, you know when you were a kid and you would dive in and get water up your nose and it would burn?
God, I hated it.
It was like that, only worse. Like way worse. I, of course, was sobbing. I was crying. I said, what have I done to myself? I was so miserable. After, it's funny that I remember that now because I should remember those times when I'm thinking about how great it would be to have another baby. Because those are fleeting moments, and the vomit and the sickness and the weight gain, that is forever. Those are things. Yeah. When people say, oh, you don't remember the pain after you have the baby. And it's like, okay, you may not remember the labor part of the pain, but do you not remember the 9 months of pure hell before that? It was awful. It's terrible. I mean, true. And it's all for a good purpose, but it is hell for a lot of us. A lot of us. That's why Daryl, I sent Daryl to the doctor 6 weeks after that baby was born.
Really?
6 weeks.
It was your idea?
Oh, yes. I said, get on in there. And he's like, all right. And I go, 6 weeks. She's not dying. Go. We don't need to do another one. We're out. You're out. Get out. I wouldn't let him have sex with me until he had it.
That was the one thing I think that with me and Victor, I always wanted was I wanted another baby.
Yeah.
And he said no. So I never got my last baby.
Yeah, well, you know what? He did you a solid because I don't think you would have survived it.
Maybe not, but
the sickest woman I ever met in my life.
I just wanted one.
Polly, you were thinking about abortion. I mean, you were so miserable. You were like, I can't believe I'm actually thinking about having an abortion. I mean, obviously you wouldn't have, but I'm just saying you were like,
I wouldn't have.
You're like, I can see how women want to do it.
I just want the misery to end. I remember that. I remember
you were
that.
so sick. Anyway, all right. Well, that's the show for me. Do you have anything, Paula?
I do not. So thanks everybody for joining us. Father's Day is coming up. That is, I believe, June 17th. Is that what it is?
16th, I believe.
Mm-hmm. June 16th. So that gives you plenty of time to go to uglytruth.com, click on the Amazon button, and search things for father. Maybe dad lights makeup. So you can go to lipandclip.com, pick up some nice makeup for dad.
They have soap on a rope.
Soap on a rope.
If you ever want to know, you're like, hey, we should get him something really kitschy, like soap on a rope. Avon has it. Lipandclip.com. I swear to God. They also have the old school cologne that comes in like a car, the glass.
Oh.
Do you remember those? Those are way before your time and my time too, but I think even our dad had those. We have the boot and the car, and they're made of glass, but they have cologne in them.
Interesting. I wonder what it smells like.
Well, I don't know, but
well, you could probably empty them and then put your dad's cologne in there.
Maybe that's it. Well, I don't know. Maybe they smell good. I have no idea.
Well, yeah, that's true. It's probably musky.
It can't be worse than. Can it be any worse than Aqua Velva?
Oh God, do they even make that stuff anymore?
I don't know.
I mean, this would probably only work if you're like 7, but 7 years old, I mean.
Yeah,
but, you know, or unemployed, whatever. But
yeah, save yourself a trip. Buy it on Amazon.
So there. Be sure to write our names on the card as well.
The Ugg said we should give this to you. It's musk.
All right. So thanks, everybody, for listening. Have a good rest of your week, and we will see you on Sunday. Bye.
Thanks for listening and sharing the show. See you next time on The Ugly Truth.